Um, Meg.
Yes.
Everybody, we're rebooting our podcast, Potential Unlock. It's been a while since we do it, and I wanted Meg to be our first guest
Oh, wow. Okay.
in the reboot.
Okay.
For 2023. So I'm Bradley Schneller, owner of Stack Coaching. I have with us one of our most consistent members in the history of time, Meg Farris.
First of all, we should say we just finished.
We did just finish
Tough
a workout.
This is me, no makeup, sweaty. And you know what's funny? The people in the gym don't recognize me when I'm Meg Farris on TV, all done up.
Yeah.
But people who see me on TV will see me out like this and don't
They will
recognize. I love it.
That's
I love it.
hilarious.
This is the other me. I love it.
That is funny. I am always like, damn.
Yeah.
Every time I see
A
you.
shower and hair and makeup does a girl good, huh?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the main reasons that I wanted to have you as our first guest on the reboot was because you have completely unlocked your potential, not only as a journalist, but as a human.
Well, let's first start with how we met.
Yeah.
I have yo-yoed up and down, and I think I was in an up phase when I came and interviewed you. I'd seen some people who I knew lost weight.
Right.
Carl Arredondo was a co-worker, meteorologist at Channel 4, and he said he was doing this with you. And I wanted to interview people about going on the keto diet and working out. And I met all these people here in your gym, Stack Coaching, what used to be Rue, who had lost all this weight. And I interviewed you.
I remember.
And I know, and I've even said this to you, I don't think that day that I interviewed you all dressed up and heavier than I am and all that you ever thought I would be in here coming 7 days a week nonstop. I think you had me figured out.
I mean, actually, honestly, I had no idea. Oh, no, I know. But I mean, I knew that you knew a ton about fitness, health, wellness, and, you were always on top of every new study that came out. And that was kind of like your thing. So I was a little surprised when you were interested in coming.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, Bradley, this gym has I know my genetics, and I've tried many different things, but this is working for me. A quick chronological thing. The zeros and the teens ate all the crap. Okay, yeah. The bacon and the lard, and I mean that's what we grew up on. That was the American diet, and the beignets and the sugary things. I mean, king cake was breakfast sometimes. Okay, yeah. I have 5 brothers.
There still is for me sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I can't do that. All right, so I laid down this foundation, which wasn't good for my genetics. In my 20s at college, I started jogging because that was the phase. Okay, and I stopped eating red meat, and that went, and I got I'd lose weight, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. My 30s, I started weightlifting with a trainer, but it was 3 days a week. It was great. I loved it. And it was, this body part on Monday, this body part on Wednesday, and it was great. And I, again, yo-yo. In my 40s, stuck with that consistently, I began boxing, and man, did I get fit when I was boxing. One-on-one training, boxing. So that was anaerobic, and it was good. So my father was a world-class OBGYN and figured out women need their hormones womb to tomb. And he started me on day 1 replacing my hormones when I was getting that perimenopause in my 40s and then menopause in my 50s. That is the secret, and I don't want women to be scared of that. Non-oral, I get, the injections or the patches or whatever. So now my body has what it takes to work right when I treat it right, if that makes sense. And I'll tell people what's interesting. There was one point where I gained 20 pounds in 2 months. And on me, 20 pounds is like 100 on someone else. That's bad when you're going up. When you're going down, I lose 10, 20, 15 pounds. And people are like, oh my God, you've lost 50 pounds. I'm like, no, 10. That's just my body. Okay. So when I did that, he tested, and I had low thyroid, so I had to get on thyroid replacement. No big deal. I inherited it. My mother had it. Well, toward my late 40s, same thing happened. Couldn't get off the sofa, fatigue, horrible. He figured out my body, my ovaries had stopped making testosterone before it stopped making estrogen, progesterone. Put me on it, boom, the weight came off, and I was good. Now I'm working out. So now we go through my 50s and I'm on all my hormone replacement and everything's feeling good. COVID hits and I couldn't go weightlift. Now, let me back up and tell you, Bradley, I don't even think I've told you this before. I had a genetic test that I may even get emotional. I saw on paper what I've known since I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two categories. I was doing a story, and you got the swab, and I was getting ready to throw the swab away because I was just showing people on camera. And the people at the company said, no, we want to test. Don't throw that away. We'll test it. So category for workout. There were two categories you could be. It was you work out, you burn fat, you build muscle, you're normal, average. Or the other category was you have to work out harder, longer, faster, more frequently, more intensely than anyone to try to build muscle and burn fat. Of course, I was number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. But seeing it on paper, now the food category, there were 4 categories. 1, you process everything normally. 2, you don't process carbs normally. 3, you don't process fat or carbs normally. And 4, you don't process fat normally. Well, I thought I'm going to be 2 for 2. I don't process fat or carbs. Surprised me. It was don't process carbs normally. So fat and proteins, I was fine. So that was 2011. Bradley, that was the day I cut out white rice, pasta, crackers, cookies, king
Mm-hmm.
cake, none of that. Now that sounds like, oh, Meg, you're so disciplined. No, I don't miss it because I felt bad and I gained weight.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was me. So I remember I'd gone up to interview Dr. Oz, and then he came to New Orleans and saw me after I'd done that and I'd lost all this weight, and he was surprised. But I decided to work with my genetics instead of fighting it.
You know what you said? You said a little while ago, you felt better, so you didn't miss it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that saying, Kate Moss's saying, right? Nothing tastes better than skinny feels. And she got railroaded for it. But the reality is what she was saying is something very similar. Nothing tastes better than feeling good.
Yeah. You're right. And it's the whole thing. It's the sleeping, it's the fatigue, you're right. It's not just, oh, how do I look? It's studies, Bradley, people who get dementia and brain problems and Alzheimer's and all that are people who more likely are not on their hormone replacement and were not fit in their middle age.
Yeah.
So being in middle age, I don't want someone to have to take care of me, you know, when I'm in my elderly years. And that the science is clear that how you treat your body is how your brain will age.
And it's interesting, and I think this is where like there's a lot of confusion, and I think we saying similar things, but so like at the end of the day, and I talk about this with you all the time, like in order to lose weight, you have to be in a caloric deficit, period. And so what a lot of people get confused about is what your hormones do to affect that. And so what your hormones do is it makes your maintenance level or your metabolic set point lower and lower and lower. You have to be in a more of a caloric deficit, or you have to eat even less calories because your hormones aren't working properly.
Been there, done that.
Right. And so when your hormones are functioning properly or humming at an A+ level, right, you have a lot more margin of error.
Do you have oil in your car?
Right.
You don't have oil in your car. It's still going to run, but you'll run better with oil.
And it gives you the ability to create progress a little bit quicker. Or when you start to see progress, it keeps you motivated. Right?
Totally.
Yeah. Yes. And then if you're like out here working an hour and a half every single day, and you're basically shoving your head into a wall because you know you're trying to eat properly, but there is no margin of error because your hormones are messed up. Well, how discouraging is that?
Total. Been there, done that. And Bradley, in college, when I lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks, I remember I was eating 500 calories a day. Stupid, but I know the science now. But everyone, oh, you look so good. But guess what? I was skinny fat. I had lost weight, but I didn't build the muscle.
Yeah.
So it was totally unsustainable. And I did intermittent fasting. What I'd do is I'd eat breakfast, I'd eat lunch, not enough protein, and then I wouldn't eat till breakfast the next morning. But, you know, so I was doing intermittent fasting before it had a name. But every decade learning the science and learning Meg's genetics, which doesn't work for everyone, but it works.
I love that.
It got me to where I am now. Let's come to now. So in my 50s, I'm on my hormones. I'm working out. I'm doing okay. but weight started creeping up. Well, I found out that my hormone patches, my estrogen wasn't absorbing anymore. So I gained weight. And the doctor said, I see this all the time in women your age, the patches stop absorbing. She goes, time to switch over to what your dad called shot of the month club. My father was deceased by then. So to get my injections that way.
And which shot was it?
So this was my estrogen and my progesterone, and then my testosterone is a gel that I use to replace what your ovaries don't make anymore. I don't want people to think I'm on testosterone. Right. Okay. And again, everything started working right. So then I come to you. So what happens is COVID hits and my gym closes and I'm just jogging for 6 months and my knees are starting to hurt.
Oh, yeah, it's rough.
Bradley, I'm back to the old Meg where I jogged. I ran a marathon overweight, okay? I can't believe it. The heavy girl in first grade who got picked last for Red Rover, okay, ran a marathon, but I still was overweight. So the gym closed and we were all worried. And I came to your gym because I knew it was open and the science was coming out that you could work out more outside open. And yours was outside, inside, but the whole wall, the walls were open and that CrossFit model. And it just clicked. And a year ago, so that was like a year and a quarter. A year ago, Bradley, I realized, wait a minute, Meg, the science on you is carbs, simple carbs, store in you. Mm-hmm. And guess what, Bradley? I was eating purple grapes, love, but I'd eat like a whole container. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we've all been there. Come on. I mean, Also,
in college, a whole container of purple grapes costs like $15.
Okay,
right?
But look, it's better than in college
so expensive?
Eating the whole sleeve of cookies. Okay, yeah. in my mind. But for my genetics, it wasn't. And so I started looking into stuff, and I realized berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. I get that same, satiety. I love that. But all of a sudden, the weight started falling off. And one more thing I had to cut out. My beloved Greek, non-fat, plain yogurt. And I know, oh, it's good for you. But Mackie Shilstone, the fitness expert, had said, Meg, it's loaded with natural sugar. So for me, it didn't work. And so I love it. Cottage cheese is great. I'd eat all the non-fat. But remember, my body, fat, I can process. Sugar.
Well, and for things like...
So the weight zoomed off.
Right. So for people to understand, if you take the fat out of Greek yogurt or cottage cheese and you make it non-fat, the carb level goes up because there's more of it. And so you're replacing calories with calories, basically. And so like the grapes versus cookies, right? Grapes are more glycemic than berries. So it could be carbier than they are carbier than berries. They're high glycemic. So it is, they're going to have more calories per serving than berries. So that's why it's it's similar to a cookie, right? And so like I tell people at the end of the day, sugar is sugar, carbs are carbs. Like if you could eat 200 carbs a day and lose weight, well, it doesn't matter if those 200 carbs. Keep this in perspective from what I'm about to say. It doesn't matter if you're eating 200 carbs of sugar or 200 carbs of broccoli. Now, here's the difference. Okay, like the broccoli has fiber. You're gonna put there's all kinds of satiating things that has to do it. You got to make sure you're getting your micronutrients in and all your vitamins and minerals, those types of things. But at the end of the day, the carbs are the carbs. So grapes could be tough for Meg.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, you're getting the polyphenols, which are great, and all those wonderful things. Okay, so let me give you another one. So I always like something after dinner, and I found 100% chocolate bars, 100% zero sugar in them. Now they are bitter, but I love
100% dark chocolate.
Here's the thing, and I look at these things 80%, 90%, sugar. Okay. So yes, the whole bar is 500 calories of fat. It's got good stuff in it. So I discipline myself now, and I just want that little taste, and I break off like 2 little squares. And that's what I have, Bradley. And so it has been a 45-year learning process about what is best for me and learning the science and following, you know, what I learned from my dad. And
one thing I hear, and I don't know if you know you're doing this or not, but you are considering your caloric intake.
oh, absolutely.
Right? And so what Meg was talking about is she said like the entire chocolate bar is like, sarcastically speaking, 500.
No, I think it is.
Well,
It's
500.
big.
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe 500 calories.
Yeah,
I meant
yeah,
like, you know, like let's
yeah.
say it's a gigantic load of fat grams, which equals more calories. But Meg said I'm eating 2 squares, right? I think when people don't have the understanding of you know, the energy balance equation, you know, calories in versus calories out, and they just want to stay like indoctrinated to a single dogma or diet, you tend to overeat. And so like you think you're doing keto, right? But you're actually just eating way more calories than you're expending, and it becomes difficult to lose weight over the long term.
Right, absolutely. And I learned too, and you know this, too much of a deficit makes your metabolism go into storage mode.
And it lowers your hormones.
Exactly. It's going back to the caveman. Oh my gosh, we're in a famine. Shut down the metabolism and store.
Well, the other thing it does is if you stay in a deficit for too long, you have decreased energy levels. If you have decreased energy levels, then you have a decreased energy output for the day. When it comes to like your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which we call NEAT, is so you fidget a little bit less. You might walk a little bit less. You move a little bit less in general. And so that lowers your total daily energy expenditure because you are eating less food. So a lot of times with people that are overweight, okay, and this isn't always the case, but it's sometimes the case, okay, we get them and, you know, we wonder, are you accurately tracking your calories? Because you're only eating 1,200, 1,300 calories a day. How can this be? Well, they have eaten so few calories for so long that they don't move throughout the day. And sometimes you can't, it's hard to take someone that's eating 1,200 calories, say, we're going to eat 800 calories and then reverse our way up. Sometimes the best way to do it is just start them on a reverse diet and start increasing their energy intake to where we increase their energy expenditure and we get them to move a little bit more.
Yeah, because I know there are studies where people were on 900 calories and they increased them to like 1,400 and they actually lost weight.
They start to increase their energy.
Yeah, and what do you think, Bradley, about, like, I know some people believe in the cheat day where they fluctuate, and sometimes I will eat more on days, but I know my control level, and I know if I know certain triggers. Like I've just taught myself this in the last several months. I edit in the grocery store. There are certain things that if I bring home, if they're in the house, it's going to be eaten. I love like to get a good like cashew butter or an almond butter. And you think, oh, 1 scoop or whatever, good for you, protein, fats, which I process well. But with those, I find myself a little bite, a little bite, a little bite, a little bite. And all of a sudden half the jar is gone. So what I have to say to myself, in the grocery, you can't have that in your house because with that, you won't discipline.
I mean, most people have the best willpower in the grocery store. They have it a lot less at the house, right?
Yes.
But you asked me about the cheat day.
Yes.
All right? So I am not a fan of a cheat day. All right. And here is why. Okay. Again, if we go back to your energy balance, right? It takes 3,500 calories over maintenance in order to gain a pound. It takes 3,500 calories under maintenance to lose a pound. That is a rolling caloric maintenance level. Okay. So let's say, for just to make it simple math, okay, let's say you eat 2,000 calories every day. That is your maintenance level, 2,000 calories every day, okay? And maintenance levels can change, again, with your energy expenditure, but it has to do with a lot of different things, all right? So let's say you eat 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories. And then on your cheat day, okay, which is day 6, day 7, whatever, okay, you decide, I'm going to go out and I'm going to hang out with my friends and I'm going to go to eat breakfast out. Breakfast out is generally highly caloric. I don't care how you spin it, okay, it's highly caloric, all right? Let's say I'm going to go get a hamburger and have a couple of beers, okay? Well, we just easily ate, you know, 1,500, 1,600 calories, okay? And then we decide I'm going to eat pizza and have a couple more drinks, maybe some ice cream after, and now we just added another 2,000 calories, okay? So now for the day, maybe you are at 4,000 calories instead of 2, which is super easy. Super easy.
Oh, yes.
Okay, like it is really easy to eat 4,000 calories in a day. Okay,
easily.
So if you do that 2 weeks in a row, well, now your cheat day just gained you a pound.
Okay.
Right? It's like we say in the nutritional world all the time, 80% of the effort does not equal 80% of the results. It does in fitness, it does not in nutrition.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that 20% time you say, I'm going to cheat, you can easily overeat so much that it sabotages your entire week.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't do that. I'll tell you, I remember the day, and this was years ago, when I realized Meg, not everyone else, had to give up froyo. Okay. I loved my frozen yogurt. And I realized that for me, I didn't eat like a little taste of it. I wanted a big thing and I could sit there and eat watching TV. And I remember the day saying to myself, this is the last day you're going to have frozen yogurt because for you, it's too much sugar. And I cut it out. It was like I told myself I mourned the loss of not having that sensation of eating that nice, cold, smooth frozen yogurt. But I'm fine. I'm alive. I don't miss it, and I'm fine. And my blood levels are incredible.
Yeah.
My good cholesterol is off the charts, and that's a product of living this way. But I will tell you, and you know this. This is so interesting. So my knees and hip joints started hurting, and I thought it was and part of it is the decades of running, jogging on concrete, and maybe doing some things in the gym, a little straining or too deep in squats for me with the way my Q angle, the way my bones are screwed in. Okay. And so, but I went to, I would say about 10 orthopedic guys, and 90% of them were awesome. But I just went to one, Jacques Cassault at Tulane, a sports medicine guy. And I said, you listen to me. I said, if you tell me I can't work out, because it's for up here, okay?
Yeah.
And he discovered something. And this was just 2 weeks ago, Bradley. And I got tears in my eyes and I got up and I said, I have to give you a hug. He discovered that my vitamin B folate is not metabolized correctly. And he said it's fairly common in people. He just published a study. And I said, I take vitamin B every day. And he said, and your blood's loaded with it. It's not being used. I'm going to switch you to a different one. And he said, I think that's why you get all these fascia knots and they're pulling on your joints. And that's why you're in pain. Now, I'm still coming to the gym and he knows that. He said, you are actually helping your joints by doing all this, even though you're in pain. He said, because you're building your muscle to support you. He said, but you need to give this new vitamin B 3, 4, 5 months to let your marrow make new red blood cells. And then he goes, I think we're going to make a huge difference.
How are you feeling right now? Any
well,
better?
I just started it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so no, my knees and hips hurt. But you see, that's not an excuse not to work out. As long as I got clearance from the doctor.
As long as you're not doing something detrimental to your progress.
Correct. And believe me, I talked to him about all that. But my point is, when people say, oh, I hurt, or oh, this, or oh, I'm tired, you have to be consistent. And I think people think, oh, you're disciplined. This is fun here. I love the people. I love the 20, 30, 40, 50-year-olds I work out with. There's mothers, daughters here. I love it here. And everyone's so encouraging and people are pushing you. And I don't think people realize that working out, a friend of mine, Belinda, said, Meg, we don't have to work out. We get to work out.
Ooh.
Every day. I know, because I interview
like
a lot of people who can't work out, Bradley, and it breaks my heart. And the feeling, the euphoria, and the brain chemistry, and all that, everything you get from it. But this is recess. Work is the classroom.
You were talking about your doctor and the health, and you said you work out for up here, and I tell people this all the time. This is like my number one mantra: is that fitness is for wellness, nutrition is for weight loss.
Wait, fitness is for wellness. Yes.
Fitness is for wellness.
Absolutely.
Nutrition is for weight loss. And I see people all the time, if you chase calories with fitness, you're never going to accomplish your goals because there will come a time when you can't work out.
You just described me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I was thinking about this, and I've said this for a long time, and I said this, this happened to me. I pulled my groin or strained my groin a few weeks ago squatting. I let it heal, a couple of days. I'm like, oh, I feel better. So I decided to do like some heavy front rack reverse lunges. And then it was kind of okay. And then the next week, strained it again. And I'm like, all right, I need to chill out. And so I was thinking about that, like on my lower body workout days. I'm doing a lot of body weight, making sure I'm not pulling it or anything, and just moving. But if I was under the mindset of, well, I need to work out today to justify my caloric intake, well, now I'm gaining weight on these days that I can't work out.
Yes.
Rather, I control my caloric, I control my energy balance via what I eat. And I work out to be fit, for longevity, to feel good, for my psyche, function, to stress relief. That's why I work out.
Well, you know what you just said, I've heard bodybuilders say it in two ways. Abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah, always.
And the other one is you can't fix a bad diet in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. Bradley, I think people don't know about you, and I didn't know this about you until you showed me pictures. I mean, because you take off your shirt in the gym and you're ripped, and then, you go through cycles where you want to build, and you were overweight when many, many years ago. And I didn't, because how sometimes you look at someone and say, oh, that person looks good, but you can tell he or she used to be overweight. I look at you and think, oh, he doesn't understand me. He's always been since high school, since grammar school. But you've been there and back, bought the T-shirt, and so you get it.
Yeah, always. I've been, I was overweight from 5th grade through 33, 34, right? I even I say I opened this gym overweight. Other people disagree with that, but I was like, what I think matters more than what anyone else thinks. So it doesn't really matter. And that's true because it's how I feel, right? And so, when I graduated college, I was 225, 230 pounds, but I'm 5'9", and it wasn't muscle. Like if I was 220 pounds today, I would look like a beefcake walking around. I didn't look like a beefcake. I looked like a beef roll, all right? Something like that, It was discouraging.
Yes.
And I'm empathetic towards people that struggle to lose weight. Okay. And I'm very empathetic to people who don't know how to lose weight. Okay. I get less empathetic when you know and you refuse to make changes.
Well, I've had viewers, and they'll call and they'll write, what do you do? And I'll say, meet me here. And sometimes they do, or sometimes they'll write off, not doing what you're doing. And remember, mine was a 40-year progression. And then other times people come and then they quit. And the studies show that it takes, 6 weeks, first 6 weeks, you don't feel good. You're kind of breaking your body down. After 3 months, you start craving it. After 6 months, you wake up in the morning and I have to go work out.
It takes 66 days to make a habit.
Okay.
66 days. So you have to do something consistently for 66 days in order for it to become a habit. So when those days are hard and you don't want to get out of bed, you just have to get out of bed.
Absolutely. Okay? But I find I want to. I used to go through that, but again, I don't have to work out. I get to work out. It starts my day off well, and I'll miss that adrenaline.
I think, and I don't think people understand, and I mean, every gym's different. What I strive to do is I want to collect a community of people that have a like-minded mindset towards making themselves better in whatever way that might be. It might be aesthetically, it might be mentally, health-wise, whatever, and so I tell people all the time, like, if there's something you don't want to do here, we'll change it. I don't care. You pay me. Right?
Or modify it.
Right, or modify it.
That's what I mean. Like, if there's something you're comfortable with, anymore. Right. Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
step up on it.
At the end of the day, show up.
Yep.
Just show up.
Showing
up. All right? We'll give you something to do for you to fitness for an hour. Yeah. Right? And we might control that intensity level. We had a girl today working on this workout that you just completed, which was pretty crazy.
Right?
It was
good. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun workout. It ended up being like over an hour. And she hadn't worked out for 7 days. She's been out of town, hadn't worked out for 7 days.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so I saw she was struggling in the very first 5 minutes. And I was like, hey, are you all right? Like, do you feel okay? She's like, no, I haven't worked out in 7 days and I'm feeling kind of tired. And I'm like, look, I said, instead of doing 4 rounds of each one of these sections, do 3. Like, save yourself a little bit. Get ready to work out for Monday.
You helped her up here.
Yeah, I'm like, just get yourself back in here. You're here. Let's not like kill ourselves to where we don't want to work out tomorrow. We don't want to work out on Monday. We don't want to work out on Tuesday. You know, let's give yourself a re-indoctrination into fitness. Let's move for 35 minutes and show up on Monday.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. You know, it's so interesting, everything you say, but this formula works for me socially, emotionally, physically, mentally. I mean, I can't say it enough. This, would you call this HIIT, high intensity interval training? Some days?
There's parts of it, right? So like our structure, for those of you who don't know, and it's on our shirts now, is we do a warm up, and then what I call a hot start, which is like a transition from the warm up to the strength training. And the hot start is more HIIT. It involves some lightweight, some body weight movement, so we get our heart going in order to hit that strength, because you do want an elevated heart rate when you start your strength workout. So then we do our strength, and then we have accessory work to the strength workout, and then we do some metabolic conditioning at the end. So parts of our workout is HIIT, parts of it's functional fitness, parts of it's powerlifting, parts of it is CrossFit sometimes.
Changes every day, which keeps my...
We do our own thing. We do our own thing here at Stacked. And I took a lot... You know, there are ways where you can take pieces and parts of fitness regimens, put them together, and you're like, this is our thing, and it's just a pile of shit. Because there's no...
Can we say that on TV?
Yeah, we can say. There's no formula or progression why, right? But rather, what we do is we'll take this strength section, you know, from this particular style of fitness or weightlifting or strength training, and we will work that for 12 weeks in that particular section. So the sections might change, okay, in terms of what types of fitness we're doing, but the progression is there for a cycle.
You know, Bradley, I went to my annual OBGYN visit. My father...
No one loves an OBGYN
yes, for the other day. And they make you get on the scale, of course. It's a health thing before. And I used to try to get out of it. I mean, I had every little... Not for them, for their medical records, because I didn't want to see what I weighed. And I got on the scale, and I have to tell you, I looked at the nurse and I said, is this cat, there's something's wrong with it. She goes, oh, you probably ate. And she was, you know, trying to, and I said, wait, I'm not saying I'm upset by the number. I'm saying I'm shocked the number was as low as it was. I had broken down. I was 1.3 pounds heavier than I was at my lowest as an adult. And I said, no, this is a good number. And she said, it is. I said, and she goes, yeah, it is. But I thought you were upset about it. And I said, no, I'm just shocked. And I don't think people understand when you weight lift, they think, oh, I'm going to get muscular. When you have more muscle in your body, at rest, you burn more calories.
Yeah.
And you're more fit, you're more functional. Now, when you work out your muscles and you have diabetes, which thank goodness I don't, you metabolize your insulin better. A fit muscle works better at rest.
My mom, you've met my mom. She works out at 7:30.
She works out here, yeah.
Yeah. And 7:30 is I call it our Forever Fit class. And so I have my mom, my uncles in that class, my aunt. And my aunt, oddly enough, we talked about this earlier, my aunt has early onset dementia. And it has taken a little bit turn for the worse recently, but I had her in the gym yesterday. I coached her last week. And
she shows up.
She shows up. And sometimes she doesn't know where she is in the gym, and I have to lead her through, but she's here. And I will say that very much so recently, and from what I understand with my mom and my cousins and, you know, what they have to deal with, she is more alert while she is working out and weightlifting than outside of the gym.
Absolutely.
And I love to see it.
Blood flow. You know, I was talking about the camaraderie here and how everyone kind of pulls for everyone. So we start the workout off in a circle and answering the question of the day, which gets you to know people. And you've worked out with someone 7 months and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that about you. And it's really interesting. But the studies show if you have someone you're committed to, you're more likely to stick with it. So that could be going with your spouse. when I was training for that marathon, it was my German Shepherd at my side because every morning he was nudging. He couldn't wait to go run 10 miles. He was nudging me. It could be showing up in a class. There is no question that I know that when I hit that button that I'm coming to the class, and if I don't come, or if I'm not here, people are, where are you? That absolutely makes me work out better and harder with the group. That's so encouraging, more than being by yourself. And especially if you play my music, Bradley, I'm I'm
Yeah.
I'm really working out. If you play my music from my age of
No,
discovery.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So we were talking about
Yeah.
my mom, though. I mean, she
Yeah.
was super excited.
Mhm.
My mom has struggled with her weight her
Mhm.
entire life, and she has diabetes. And
Mhm.
throughout her, it's interesting. Meg was talking about how a higher fat diet suited her, and my mom was kind of on a moderate fat diet, following doctor's advice, stuff like that.
Yeah, but
She
good
couldn't lose.
fat, good fat.
Yeah, but I mean, she couldn't lose weight,
Salmon. Yeah, not yeah.
right? And so I took over her nutrition for a little bit, and
Mhm.
I lowered her fat, increased her carbohydrates, which
Okay.
people think is a no-no for
Mhm.
diabetes
Uh-huh. But low
patients.
glycemic carbs,
No, I let her eat whatever she wanted, but we
okay.
weighed and tracked her food, so I knew
Oh,
exactly how many carbs she was
portion.
eating, exactly how many
Mhm.
calories. She lost weight, and they had to lower her insulin level, and they could not keep up.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so, I say all the time, like I go to, don't have a primary doctor.
Mhm.
I need one, but
Mhm.
I don't have one. So
Yeah.
I go to the executive health screening
Mhm.
at Ochsner, which I
Mhm.
love because you
Mhm.
could do all your tests for the year
Mhm.
right then there in a 2-hour span. They
Mhm.
call you up that day. Let's go over your
Mhm.
results. It's great.
Mhm.
Okay. And I ask them every year, I said, like, hey, what is the number one thing you can do to increase your biomarkers, make your blood panels
Mhm.
look better, lipid panels, all those things? They all say the same thing every single time: lose weight.
Mhm. Oh, it is tremendous what it does for every organ, your brain, your eyes, your skin, yeah, everything,
Yeah.
everything.
So recently, and my mom kind of took a break from dieting a little bit, which
Mhm.
is great. She still
Mhm.
doesn't. She looks amazing.
Mhm.
She's in the gym, crushing it. And she came to me yesterday, and she's strong. My mom is strong,
Mhm.
right? And she says to me yesterday, "Hey, I got great news from my doctor. Like my A1C levels are the best they've been
Mhm.
in a couple of years, and they might have to stop the insulin soon."
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
she's 65,
yeah,
66, something like
yeah.
that. 67? She's 67.
Yeah, and you see when your blood sugar is elevated, this is what I want people to understand at home. It is wearing down every blood vessel in your body. That's why you're more likely to have stroke,
Yeah.
heart attack. It is wearing down, wearing down. That sugar is wearing down, and so that's why your health gets so bad. And here's the other thing, Bradley. When you eat, and for me, and this is true, when you have too much simple sugar in your diet, it makes you crave more sugar and want more sugar.
Oh, that's for sure.
And diet drinks, run, don't walk, and throw them away and stop them.
Interesting. I just started drinking Diet Coke 6 months ago, and I've drank more Diet Coke than I ever have in the past. But here's why. Okay, here's the
But I'll
difference.
give you the science. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what the artificial sugars do in the
Mm-hmm.
diet drinks, if Meg is right, is
Mm-hmm.
it blocks your flavor receptors that keeps you craving more
More
sugar.
sugar. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is 100% true. If you are someone, though, that knows exactly how many calories you're putting in your
Mm-hmm.
body, then you could drink a couple of diet drinks and control your calorie levels. If you're not, then yes, it could jack with your ability to recognize
Mm-hmm.
how much sugar you crave or how much sugar you want to put in.
But I'm going to give you some science that was done right here at LSU Health Sciences Center. So they've found that when you drink those fake sugars, I'm going to call them, you know the gut biome,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
bacteria, the trillions of bacteria in your gut are the ones digesting. You aren't digesting your food; they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
In 1 week, it changes them to be equal to like a diabetic, and they are responsible for your immune system, for your brain. There's a connection with your brain health, and so they do things to your gut bacteria that are not good. And so when I now this again going back decades, I switched to water with lemon or something in it, or plain water, or I'll make green and black tea bag, and then I'll put my lemon, and I'll put mint in it. I never did like sweet tea. I just didn't grow up on that. Grew up on every other kind of sugar. But anyway, that's what I had, and I can save those calories
I
for
like
my
it. Save your calories.
food
Save your calories for
to
food.
chew them.
I'm into it. I'm always into chewing food.
Yeah.
So Meg, this
Okay.
the show is called Potential Unlocked. All right.
Okay.
And so I want to get in on this for everybody here.
All right.
Okay. You are an Emmy award-winning journalist.
Can you believe that? It only took me 41 years.
41 years. Emmy award-winning journalist.
To become an overnight success. Yeah.
So what is inside of you, or what did you have to realize along the way that brought you to this point?
I loved biology, and I would go watch my dad do in high school surgeries and stuff. But I loved Barbara Streisand. I wanted her job. Okay. Now this is adolescence, a teenager when, pie in the sky. And when I was in college, and my father said, you can't do anything with an undergraduate biology degree. And, an actress, you're going to be, going to be without a
Could you
job.
sing?
Yeah. I can sing, but I don't have that kind of voice. No, that
Right.
trained kind of incredible voice. I can carry a tune. You hear me singing in the gym all the time. That's about my level. Anyway, I had to take a class at Ole Miss. It was public relations, and the public relations director of the school taught it. Now, we all took it as an elective because the cute football players were in the class, but it was through the School of Journalism, and that changed everything. And that's how I got hooked on television news reporting. And look, I'm using the medical biology training I had, and I'm using the theater training I had, because you have to perform even though it's not a script, it's live television. But what drives me, Bradley, and I can get emotional over this, is I've interviewed lots of quote unquote celebrities and stars. What drives me is interviewing the everyday New Orleans people. I adore them. I love them. When I know that just my job that day can help someone get to a doctor where they can hear again, that just a story I just did, or where people help them rebuild their home or something, that just, I just feel tremendous purpose when I leave my job. See, I'm getting emotional. Oh yeah, I complain. Oh yeah, there are days when you just like everyone else, where you want to scream or throw something because it's frustrating. It's hard deadlines. It's anyway, but I love to talk to people.
So one thing that I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as hard worker and consistent you are in the gym, you're the same way at your job.
Yeah, my father was a World War II veteran, and my mother, it was the greatest generation, right? You went to school, you didn't get to stay home because you just didn't feel like it. You had to have fever, okay? And he was a doctor. We learned from the greatest generation, and Dad, who didn't have all the opportunities that he was able to give to me and my 5 brothers. You just learn discipline, and you do it. Not showing up was not an option. And look, one of my 5 brothers said, because Mom and Dad are gone, he said, Margie and Charles handed us the ball on the half-yard line. If the 6 of us couldn't get it in the end zone, shame on us, okay? Because some people are handed the ball in childhood way deep, in the other territory. So I learned that. I had the benefit of parents who discipline, but encouragement, and you knew when we did something wrong, it hurt more that we were going to disappoint them. And they were loving, wonderful parents. So
it sounds to me that the love of your craft, or helping people, as you described, is what drives you on a daily basis to grind, right? Now, I would say, this isn't a equal opportunity career, right? Like some journalists are just better than others.
Oh, absolutely.
And you are at the top of your class.
But I can always learn.
You can always learn. But I'm going to say you're at the top of your class. And I'm sure in some way that you do a good job. And the Emmy supports that.
Some days, yes. Other days,
So other people, what is it that you have that they don't? Or what is it something that you realized along the way that maybe they don't? Or is it a care? Is it a love? Is it, you know?
Yes. First of all, Bradley, I wanted, it was put me in coach. I was a desk assistant, an intern, and nobody believed in me, and they wouldn't put me in. And so I went through frustrating time. And then I got to do a community report, a community calendar, and then they wouldn't put me in doing hard news. And I don't know, I just kept, plugging away. But yeah, I'd have my times when I'd go home and woe is me, and they don't like me, and why won't they make me the medical reporter because the other medical reporter left. So yeah, and someone told me, just go out and do a story. And I said, what do you mean? Set up a story, ask for a photographer, and just go out and do it. So I had to show people that I could do it. I had to prove myself. And so there were times I had to do that. But, I just, I love doing what I do. I love knowing that information can change someone's life. I'm far from perfect, but I look at these young, I'm gonna call them kids, they're grown-ups, who come in and they have to shoot and edit on their own. I still get a photographer, and they still make their deadline, and they don't miss slot, and I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. The business has changed. I don't like that. But I'm so impressed with some of these people. But they're burnt out. I don't think they're going to be there 41 years like I have, because they burn out.
They got to grind now. The grind is harder.
Is even harder. Yeah. Is even harder. Yeah.
So last question. Mm-hmm. Someone out there looking to change, better themselves. Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your advice to them? Okay, so let me tell you this. Years ago, Mark LeBlanc was my trainer for many years, and we were very, very, very good friends, still are. And he said, you work harder than other people in the gym, but I don't get the results. Remember, my genetics show I'm not gonna, it's gonna take me longer, harder, okay. And he said, your drive comes from the fact that it didn't come natural, and you know what it's like to be out of shape and fat when you were young. And he said, other people don't have your drive, and look at their natural genetic bodies. If they had your drive, oh my God. And so I think part of my drive comes from when I tell the viewers on Weight Loss Wednesday, they know I've been there and done that. They know I've been in their shoes back and forth. And so I think, part of that is the drive is from within. I think part of it's my parents. I think if they just let it realize how much fun they could have and how good it feels. It's all about health, right? Health is wealth. Yes, the residual is the psychosocial that you get, you don't have as much time at home in the morning throwing clothes off the rack because nothing fits. That's a little side benefit. But going to the doctor and the doctor being, how old are you? What? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
That is like, you see, stop judging people by, there's so much ageism, and just, look, and whenever I've had anything medical, the doctors say, oh my God, you heal so fast. Well, they're used to seeing smokers. They're used to seeing diabetics, all those things that make your body not repair itself. Yeah. So there you go. I wish I hadn't sunbathed in my youth. That's the tip I would give.
I'm trying to get out of that right now.
Oh,
I'm trying
stop,
to get out of that.
Please.
I'm 39, I'm about to turn 40, and I've just come to the realization I need to take care
Bradley,
of myself. We'll have to do an entire another show.
It's not birthdays, it's sun damage that makes you look older. Birthdays are just a little bit of...
That's the big tip to take away from this.
Okay.
All right, well, Meg, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bradley, this has been a great partnership.
Yeah. All right, everybody, let's get stacked. Yeah.